There's a certain kind of actor who doesn't need a lot of screen time to leave a permanent mark. Meg Foster is one of them. With eyes like cold fire and a stare that could stop you in your tracks, she never quite fit the mould of a traditional leading lady. But she didn't need to. In the 70s and 80s, Meg Foster became a cult icon, not just for her roles, but for the energy she brought to them. Strange, powerful, mysterious. So what happened? Where did she go? Let's fade to black. Meg Foster was born on May 10, 1948, in Reading, Pennsylvania. She was one of 5 children in a close-knit Catholic family and spent much of her childhood in the small New England town of Rowayton, Connecticut. Even from a young age, Meg had a kind of quiet intensity about her. She studied at the neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theatre in New York, the same institution that trained the likes of Gregory Peck, Steve McQueen, and Diane Keaton. In interviews, she said that acting wasn't about fame or visibility for her. It was about truth, about being fully present in a moment. And that mindset would shape her entire career. Meg's career began on stage, but by the late 60s she was making appearances on TV, guest roles in shows like Bonanza, The Twilight Zone, and Hawaii Five-0. In 1973 she landed a major opportunity, the lead role in the NBC miniseries The Scarlet Letter, playing Hester Prynne opposite John Hurd. Critics praised her for bringing both fragility and quiet strength to the role, and it looked like Meg Foster was on the cusp of becoming a household name. For a brief moment, she was, but the path she chose wasn't the typical one. One thing that defined Meg Foster, even more than her performances, was her look. Her eyes, a shade of pale, piercing blue, became the stuff of legend. Often called crystalline, glacial, even inhuman, they were striking in a way that made casting directors unsure what to do with her. She was too unconventional to be a romantic lead, too intense to be just the girl next door, and yet that exact quality made her unforgettable in darker, more unusual roles. Meg once said she never liked being told what to do with her face. She didn't want to hide behind layers of makeup or be shaped into something artificial. She wanted to be real and raw. In an industry obsessed with conformity, that made her a bit of a rebel. By the early 1980s, Meg Foster had started to carve out her place in genre film, and that's where she truly found her people. In The Emerald Forest in 1985, she played the mother of a boy lost to an Amazonian tribe, balancing vulnerability with fierce maternal strength. Then came Masters of the Universe in 1987, where she portrayed the evil sorceress, Evil-Lyn, a role that, decades later, remains one of her most iconic. Dressed in elaborate armour with that unmistakable glare, she practically stole the film from Skeletor himself. But it was in 1988 that she entered full cult status. John Carpenter's They Live cast her as Holly Thompson, a mysterious woman caught between reality and propaganda. Foster's performance was icy, unreadable, dangerous. You never really knew if she was telling the truth, and that ambiguity made her unforgettable. They Live was a box office sleeper hit, but a long-term cult sensation, and Meg Foster's presence, cold, strange, magnetic, became central to its lasting power. Throughout the late 80s and 90s, Meg Foster continued to work steadily, but increasingly in smaller films, guest roles, and under-the-radar projects. She appeared in Leviathan, Stepfather 2, and Blind Fury, often playing women who were strong, guarded, or on the edge of unravelling. She also had a brief but memorable stint on Cagney and Lacey in 1982, replacing actress Loretta Swit in the pilot and then Tyne Daly in the first 6 episodes of the show. But CBS famously replaced her, claiming she was too intense for the part. That move was controversial, and it said a lot about the way Hollywood often misunderstood her. In later years, Foster found a new outlet in voice acting. Her distinct tone, low, deliberate, a little haunted, gave her a presence even without her face on screen, and it connected her to a new generation of fans. Most recently, she voiced Evil-Lyn once again in Kevin Smith's Master of the Universe, Revolution, on Netflix, proving her staying power more than 35 years after the original film. While Meg Foster never completely vanished, she did step away from the Hollywood machine. In her personal life, Meg has kept things incredibly private. She has a son, Christopher Starr, from a relationship with actor Stephen McHattie, a fellow cult favourite known for films like Pontypool and Watchmen. She's never been one for headlines or red carpets, and there's no record of a public marriage beyond that early chapter. It fits who she is, someone who always let the work speak louder than the spotlight. Foster has always been private, elusive even. She didn't chase magazine covers or high-profile relationships. She wasn't part of the LA party scene, and maybe that's why she never burned out. She's done theatre throughout her life and has kept close ties with friends in the New York stage world, where acting is less about status and more about presence. In recent years, she's made appearances at conventions, embracing the fan community that never forgot her. She's spoken about how grateful she is for the people who grew up watching her films, people who saw something in her that Hollywood didn't always appreciate. Meg Foster never became a megastar. She didn't headline franchises or dominate box office charts, but in a strange way, she became something rarer. She became a presence, an energy, a face you never forget, even if you don't know her name. Directors like John Carpenter saw what others didn't, that there was something inherently cinematic about her, something eerie, something powerful. Her performances have been studied in film schools, analysed by horror fans, and rewatched by generations who grew up on VHS tapes and late-night cable. And now in the streaming age, her work is finding new life. Younger audiences are discovering They Live and Masters of the Universe for the first time, and her voice, quite literally, is still echoing through our screens. So, what the hell happened to Meg Foster? Long after the movies ended, you remembered the look, those eyes, that stillness, the way she seemed to be hiding something, or maybe telling you everything. Meg Foster never begged for attention. She earned it with silence, with presence, with power. She didn't burn out, she didn't fade away. She just left behind a trail of moments that stuck with you, the kind that whispered to you years later when you least expect it. With her icy blue eyes and unforgettable screen presence, Meg Foster became one of the most distinctive faces in cult cinema. From They Live and Masters of the Universe to the Lords of Salem and beyond, her career has spanned decades, marked by bold roles, genre-defining performances, and a loyal fan base that never forgot her. If you enjoyed this trip into cult cinema history, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss any new uploads. As ever, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.